Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to, yes, another Friday edition of Topic Time. I just can't get enough of doing Topic Time. I love Topic Time, and it loves me, and it loves you guys, and you love watching it, so why not do more episodes, and that's what we're doing. And I love diversity. I have quite a diverse assortment of guests, and I certainly have one today. For the first time ever, I'm actually going to be helping not only do a science demo with this gentleman here, Mike Stacchi. We're going to be talking about the pros and cons of plastic around water and how to possibly create the most healthiest water intake that you can with something he's brought in and he's going to talk about. And I'm so glad I was able to get him for the show. And Mike, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Harrison.
Okay.
So,
now tell me what you're going to do today. We're going to do some demos. We're going to talk about something about your history, but we're going to concentrate more on the water demo today, and you're going to talk all about it. So go ahead. What are we going to do today?
well, basically, I was introduced to a company that does water ionization, which is basically it's different than filtering. You're actually using electricity to bring the pH of the water up and down. And by doing that, you can make useful waters for drinking, as well as cleaning your foods, cleaning your house. So it's kind of that green clean for the body and for the home.
Wow,
So,
it's almost like electrical chlorophyll.
it's as pure as it gets.
Yeah, I guess it is.
I guess when it comes down to it, so it's a chemical-free process. A lot of people think that the difference in alkaline. That you can go to the store now and you can buy alkaline drinking water in bottles, just like the rest of these products up here.
Okay.
And the difference is that alkaline, you can, just like in a swimming pool, you can just add chemicals to the swimming pool and make it alkaline. It doesn't mean that it's pure anymore.
Okay.
The difference here is that we're using electricity.
Okay.
And we're alkalizing, which is different than making something alkaline. You're alkalizing it. And that's actually a pure way, without chemicals, of making alkaline drinking water.
So you have a unit that sends electricity through water. Is that basically what you have here?
That's what it is. You hook it right up to your tap.
Okay.
Or if it's your business, you can use the town water as well.
Okay.
And as the water passes through, it's going over some high-grade titanium plates. And basically that surface area is electrocuting the water and splitting our pH of 14, that's the start of our science project here.
That's fascinating.
Is you're going to take pH of 14, you're going to split it into two useful streams of water.
Okay.
So when I make a 9.5 water for drinking, I get 4.5 water, which is great for watering plants and vegetables in the garden.
All right, now let me see if my 10th grade biology is correct, and if my memory serves me. The pH level is anywhere from 1 to 14, and with 7 being like just halfway between acidic and alkaline. Is that correct?
That's neutral, yep, when you get to the 7, yep.
Okay, now, what I want to know is, are there benefits of having it both be alkaline and acidic, or, for certain things? Like, say, cleaning something outside, would that be better if it's acidic? Like say, washing the car or something like that?
We find that, if you go all the way down to the most acidic water that the machine makes, it's 2.5 acidity. And that actually kills bacteria. It's like any of the Lysols and the Clorox and all those different kinds of heavy chemical cleaning products that kill 99.9% of bacteria. This 2.5 water does exactly the same thing, and you don't end up with the chemical headache or the bill of all those chemical cleaners under the sink.
Well, but you don't want to drink it when it's when it's at that level.
Most certainly not.
Okay, you want
to. So think of it this way: you've got your 14.
Right.
So when you're making a 2.5 water, you're left with an 11.5 water.
Okay. Wow.
And that's really high alkaline. You also don't want to drink that.
Right.
But you can use that, which I'm going to show in a second stage of our demonstration here, is that you can lift the herbicides and pesticides off of your food.
Okay,
you can degrease the stove.
You can do what, the stove?
Degrease the stove.
Oh, degrease. I got you. You mean clean it.
Yep, it'll break right through heavy oils.
Wow.
So you can clean the house with the 11.5 water, and then you can disinfect the toilet and the sink in the bathroom and in the kitchen with the 2.5 water.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, how exactly does it work? You want to? You want to? You brought us. Well, before you do that, you brought a bunch of bottles of water today, of different things. Not just mostly water, but also a can of 7-Up.
Yeah, I mean, basically because a lot of people do soda, a lot of the acidic diet that's out there.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't realize how dehydrated and acidic they are.
Okay.
And a lot that has to do with health
Right.
and wellness as well. Getting sick, your body is in an acidic environment.
Right.
Inflammation when you get hurt and you have a swollen tendon or muscle, or after you work out at the gym,
Yeah.
you create acids in your body that you need to flush out of the body. So consuming the high alkaline water gives your body the best potential. It's not magic water.
Right.
The idea is that you put yourself back into the balance that the body wants to be in.
Okay, true.
So the company Enagic that put out this technology found a way to harness the electricity and the electrolysis process, which is ionization, to very acutely give you those different grades of water.
Okay. Let me ask you something. I'm just wondering if the American Medical Association has weighed in on this at all.
This is actually, they're certified
Okay.
for water purity.
Right.
This is a medical grade machine from Japan. The company's 40 years old.
Okay, wow.
They came over here in 2004.
Yep.
Now they're in 45 countries around the world.
Wow.
They're in over 400 hospitals in Japan, China, Germany.
Yeah. Okay.
And the reason it's a medical grade device is because they make the machines in-house.
Wow.
And they use medical grade titanium in them. So this is
What do you mean by in-house exactly?
They don't bring in any third-party parts
Oh.
into the building process of
Oh, in
the
other
machine.
words, so basically everything is pretty sterile when they use it.
Yes, and it's all regulated by the company, the
Oh.
manufacturing of the actual pieces of it, and the medical grade titanium.
Okay.
So this is used as a pre and post surgery treatments.
Well, okay.
One of the great people that's involved in it, the co-inventor of the colonoscopy, is actually one of the biggest advocates of the machine. He just recently retired, but he would actually treat people with the water and put them on regimens of drinking 2 liters of the water a day to make sure that they were cleaning out the inside of their body.
I know this sounds kind of like a silly question, but do they are enemas used in this sort of thing? Are they used for enemas as well? This kind of
This is more you get to drink it.
talk
and
about
let
cleaning out the body.
Let
I'm
it
just
pass
wondering,
through, because what's going to happen with this is a very fine water.
Right.
So most water that we get out of the tap and out of any of these commercial products, the water molecules are really heavy. There's anywhere from 15, 20 to 25 molecules per molecule of water.
Okay.
And what happens is we've got receptors on all of our cells.
Yep.
And it's like the child's game where there's there's shapes and you have to get the shapes to fit in.
Okay, right.
Our cells have a 6-sided shape on it,
Okay.
which is a receptor, and that's how we get water into our cells.
Okay.
And what happens is most of the large molecules bounce right off that receptor. They're too big to get in. They're
Okay.
not the right shape. So with this water, after it's ionized,
Yep.
we end up with a very fine water when it reconstitutes.
Right,
You
okay.
end up with a little extra hydrogen gas because after the electrolysis process, it simplifies everything.
Yep.
And now you've got a negative charge that wants to try to get into the cell, which is positively charged on the inside. And it's small enough to fit in there.
Okay.
So this is what I'm describing is actually the antioxidant property
Oh,
of this water.
interesting.
So when people talk antioxidants about blueberries and green tea
Yeah.
and these things that are really good for cleaning out our body and giving us a detox,
Yeah.
this is probably the greatest of antioxidants that we have available on the market.
Wow.
For a machine that you could put in your house to make this drinking water.
That's incredible.
It is truly amazing in the sense of drinking a pint of water has the same properties as eating pints and pints of blueberries.
Okay, well, I didn't. Okay, I take blueberries every day in my first smoothie. Not pints and pints, but I take at least a handful.
Now the only difference in that is you've got to produce stomach acid to digest that,
Right.
And you're breaking down the alkalinity of the blueberries.
Yeah.
They still have a great antioxidant property for it's
Right.
and digesting food and nutrients.
Okay.
But it's It's second to something like this that you could just drink a glass of water. Imagine just drinking a glass of water and getting multiples of that antioxidant property in your body.
Okay, let me ask you this. How does it taste?
It tastes silky smooth.
Good, that's a good taste.
It's delicious. There's the one thing about most of these bottled waters, they've been sitting in these bottles.
Right.
Before they even get on the shelf, they've been sitting in this product packaging for 2 to 3 months in a stock room.
Yep.
Then they go on a truck. Then they end up in a store stock room. And then they go out on the shelf. So any one of these products out here is a good 2, 3, maybe even 4 months old.
Wow.
And the way I always ask the question to people is, would you pour a glass of water, even if you were to take tap water, pour a glass of water and drink it off your table 3 months later?
No, I wouldn't. But don't they have like an expiration date? I'm playing devil's advocate when I ask these questions, because I figure this is kind of important. This is what people are going to say, because this is pretty standard. This is what people love. This stuff, people buy this stuff by the ton. And what you're saying is you're telling people they're better off not buying this stuff at all, instead using one of your machines for purifying the tap.
Yeah. What happens is fresh is best.
Right.
Everybody thinks that. I mean, when you go into the store and you want to buy produce, you wouldn't buy anything that looked old and wilted, because it'll show you the leaves of the fruit, or it'll start to shrivel up. Or water, being as clear as it is, it looks harmless.
Right.
You see these things, you see the commercials. Even if any one of these was fresh and bottled and capped and then put on the shelf, you're going to end up paying. This was probably about $2 or $3.
Yep.
You know, and down the line.
Oh yeah, it's way
for pennies on the dollar to make it fresh out of your tap.
That's true.
So once you're able to get one of these machines in your house, you're saving on all of these commercial products, which gives you money to go on vacation and send your kids through school.
Just saving money is saving
retirement and all sorts of things. Yep.
Wow. So it saves money. It's a win-win situation.
Yep. Financially, it makes a lot of sense.
So yes, financially and health-wise too. Wow.
The health part of the demonstration here, it has a little shock value. That's, like you said, some of these are the favorite products of a lot of households,
right?
And even athletic people.
Yeah.
They call these things smart water.
Surprised you didn't bring in a Gatorade, because that's usually what they drink. But
yeah, I went with the smart water today, just because it's another one of those products where they tout it as smart water.
Right.
It's the same company that makes vitamin water. So when you get into the Gatorades and things like that. Most of the time, the athletes don't even drink it. It says Gatorade, and it's some other sort of formula that gives them electrolytes and things that they need. But
yeah, but it gives them a lot of bad. I know it's got a lot of sugar in it too.
Oh, so much sugar.
It's got a ton of it. It's
sugar terrible. And anything that says that there's no calories in it, you wonder what else is in there.
Right. It tastes that good. It's got to be something. There's got to be a caveat, obviously. Right.
And some of the products out there, there is now what they're calling alkaline water. And alkaline and alkalize being different, that if you turn your water over and you read ingredients, there shouldn't be any ingredients in your water. It should be water.
Right.
So why would there be sodiums and magnesiums and calciums?
That's right. That comes in all these bottled waters. Well, I always thought it was because it comes out. That's what's in the spring when it comes out, like Poland Springs. But I don't know. I'm no expert on water, or or how this water is rounded up from the great outdoors. But okay. But let me ask you this: suppose you were to take this stuff here, instead of putting it in and I mean, you attach it to your tap, and then you want to keep it for a while. You don't want to drink it right away, but you say you're going on a long bike trip.
Yep.
Now, wouldn't it be better to use glass as opposed to plastic? Because you told me before was the plastic has properties in it that can kind of get into the water, and it's not good.
Now, what I end up doing is I buy BPA-free bottles.
Okay, what are they made out of?
Basically, it's high density plastic that can withstand high amounts of heat.
Oh, really?
What happens is once any of these get any heat in them, because they're so thin, or light goes in and destroys the oxygen that's inside.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now all these are clear. This is translucent.
Right.
This isn't. You don't have to keep it in here. Glass would be recommended. It's just it is breakable.
Of course it is. Yep.
But there's some companies out there that make great, Nalgene and a few of the other companies that make these non-leaching plastics
Okay.
And they put lifetime warranties on these things.
Right.
They're unbreakable.
Yep.
And they don't leach chemicals off of the plastic bottles. None of these bottles are regulated. The FDA has one person that regulates $1 billion bottled water industry.
Why one person?
Just one person.
Who is that person? I'm just wondering.
I don't know them by name either.
You don't know that person?
I'm sure we could look it up and pull that information.
No, I'm kind of curious because I mean, it seems like it's almost like there's only one person that's qualified to pick and choose that stuff. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I got to ask you, why did you bring in a 7-Up?
Just to show people, I mean, because a lot of kids, they want it because they see the commercials. Some adults just haven't been able to get off of soda. It's just not good for you, and it does show you how acidic some of these drinks are.
Right.
I got the 7-Up because it's clear, so when we put the pH drops in here. You could have gotten
a Fresca or a Sprite, but you've chose 7-Up. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's just to be able to put these pH drops in, and you can clearly see how the pH will show in its color. Yeah. So if you want, we could actually start with some of the pH tests here.
Sure. Just so before we start, I just want to ask you a question. Every day, speaking for myself, what I do is I take a lemon and I slice it and I spill a couple of drops of lemon juice in a Dixie cup and I add about an inch of distilled water. Is that healthy? It's in a plastic container like that. But
lemon, I believe, is a natural antibacterial.
Right.
So it is good for your kidneys and things.
Well, good, because I had a kidney stone 10 years ago, and I don't want to repeat that experience if I can help it.
They recommended putting slices of lemon in your water.
Well, not actually lemon, just lemon juice.
Okay.
Yeah, but it comes right out of the lemon. There's a little lemon there too. Sometimes the seed will pop out, and I don't have a problem with sucking that down too. But what about the possibility that the distilled water in plastic might be detrimental? Because that has a long shelf life. I've had that. Like, I'll buy a big bottle of distilled water, and that'll last me a year because I only use a drop or so every day.
Yeah.
I mean, would it be better if I didn't buy it in plastic at all?
In general, again, fresh is best.
Right.
But what happens is when it's sitting in that container,
yeah,
it's losing its oxygen property.
Okay.
And as soon as the oxygen is gone,
even if it's distilled,
to a certain extent, yes and no. There's no properties left in the water that have any health benefits either.
There aren't. Okay.
It's a liquid,
right?
That you can use that you can use to transfer something else like the lemon juice or something, but it's not going to get you very far health-wise.
It isn't. Okay. All right.
The lemon, I think, is good for the kidney stone.
Right. So perhaps just drinking the lemon juice by itself without anything plastic. Because the only thing I'm trying to figure out, you got me thinking. Anything that's a beverage, even if it isn't water. Like I drink I'm a vegan and I drink almond milk every day. Mm-hmm. And that comes in a carton, which I assume is plastic as well. I don't know if that makes any difference.
I'm not quite sure what they use. Well, and the cartons are lined for sure.
That's a good thing, right?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that much about the because water would obviously just kind of dissolve something. Any liquid would just dissolve right through if it was only cardboard.
Right.
So there's got to be some sort of liner in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know there is. All right, well, go ahead, do a demo, and I'll help you out if you want.
Sure. All I'm going to do really is just put about an inch or so of each of these beverages into the cups.
Okay.
And then we're going to just show.
You want me to pour anything in?
Yeah, you're welcome to take the ones on your side of the table here.
I'll take this one. How much do you want us to pour in? How much do you want me to pour in there?
We're going to do about an inch.
Oh, you pour as much as you want, and then I'll
do about that much each.
Okay, that sounds good. Looks good.
All right. So basically, when it comes down to it, some facts about the bottled water itself. I'm actually not going to drink any of that.
I know.
You can put that right back out in front because I'm going to just put them one at a time. Yep. So this is fresh from Raynham Tap. So this is just Raynham Tap water.
Yeah, right from our school. This humble school, Raynham Middle School, where we do the show. Oh, spilling it on my pants. I hope it doesn't create bacteria in my suit. That'll be fine.
Now, one of the things about the bottles as well is people don't recycle as well as they should. These things are just destroying.
Well, I'm not guilty of that. I recycle every week. We have to where I live in Brockton. That's the rule. We have to recycle all the plastic, or as much as we can. So I take everything plastic and I throw it in the recycling bin and send it to the recycling category of the sanitation guys who pick it up every week.
And that's the way to do it, because you have to think, you know, it's generations from now are going to be affected by this. So we could all say, oh, not me. I'm not worried about this.
Okay, how did I do it, right?
Yeah, this is perfect.
Good pour? Okay.
All right, so if we move down the line here real quick, I'm just going to kind of lean over, and we should be able to see everything here.
Oh, it looks like Tabasco.
Yeah,
wow.
without the kick. So basically I'm going to put 3 drops in each one of these.
Cool.
And then we're going to be able to take a little test of color right over here. I've got a chart next to me.
Oh, wow, look at it. We're all turning different colors. That's wild.
All right.
It's got to be, if nothing else, it's very interesting. But I'm sure it's more than that. I'm sure it's beneficial, too. We're figuring out here.
Yeah, so basically, if we're looking here, we got a little, now we got a very colorful array of things that we're drinking here. Now,
the one on the right looks like laundry detergent, kind of. The purple one. I wonder, why did they all turn different colors instead of just...
So here's the explanation. I want to make sure that we can see all this here.
Yeah.
We go down the line. So Dasani. This is Dasani. And as you can see on the pH scale here, we're looking very acidic. Okay?
Wow.
So if you're looking at kind of, I've got this color chart here. Everything in the yellows and down to the orange and reds, those are going to be very acidic.
Wow.
Okay? So as you look, this is Dasani. This is a product of Coca-Cola.
Right.
Okay? Poland Springs from Maine. We bring this in here, and we're going to be looking, again, at this is closer to a neutral, slightly acidic water as well. This is our Fiji water. Now, Fiji's probably the best one for not being acidic. But again, Fiji, this bottle I think was $4 for 1 bottle of water.
That's a lot,
Seems like an awful lot of money to be spending on a product. And then you're stuck with a plastic bottle that you've got to recycle and make sure it gets into recycling. And again, we're looking at the neutral to acidic. This is Smart Water. They also make vitamin water. It's in the category with the rest of these Gatorades and sports drinks. And then if we look at soda, soda's just sitting way down here in acidic. Soda is actually pretty close to the same acidity as car battery acid.
Well, that's
pretty amazing. People use it to declog their their pipes in their house and things. Again, this is the tap water. This one's kind of hanging out in the blue to green here, so it's just above neutral. And then this would be the Kangen water. Now this is just going to sit way up here in alkalinity, okay?
Wow.
So what's going to happen is you could take some of these and the ones that are close to acidic, and you can start to see that they get a little bit darker as I go, just by adding a little bit of the alkaline water. They want to keep becoming alkaline, okay? But on the adverse side, if you're a soda drinker, you take just a few drops of soda and immediately it destroys all the alkalinity that you could be putting into your body that would be good.
Wow.
So see how everything went to acidic?
Yeah, wow.
It's pretty amazing what soda will do to destroy this. So putting this into your body sounds like it's not a good idea.
No, definitely not.
So as we move down the line through here, we've actually destroyed all the alkalinity in any of these drinks with soda.
Indeed.
So soda becomes one of those let's not do that anymore kind of products.
Exactly.
So I'm going to get a couple things out of the way here, but when it comes down to it, some other facts, bottled water, moving all this bottled water around uses billions of gallons of petroleum every year. So you got these big tanker trucks.
Okay, are you talking about just bringing it? I see what you're saying.
Just the transportation of the water.
It's totally independent of the water itself, which except for the fact that it moves it from one state to another or where in between.
Now, when that's happening,
yeah,
you're polluting the air, you're using the petro.
Wow.
And on top of that, now you've got these plastic products.
Right.
So everything about it is just kind of an adverse effect on our culture, our society, our world, our environment.
And the ozone layer.
Yep, and the ozone layer. So when it comes down to it, we got to be real careful what we're putting into our body. And we got to be real careful with the companies that are out there making commercials to make us smile.
Right.
When in the end, their interest is selling something.
Of course.
More so than it is taking care of us.
Right.
So this company in Nagic, they don't actually have any commercial advertising. I'm an advocate of the company.
Okay,
I'm a
wow.
distributor. Once I bought my machine, I get a distributor number.
Wow.
So they're part of the Direct Sales Association. Mm-hmm. So if I recommend this this machine to anyone else, I can get a commission from the company just by them putting my reference number in.
So this is your livelihood, though. Too.
This is my business. Yes.
This is your business. Now, is that the machine down there?
No, the machine is still in my kitchen, hooked up to my tap.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
So at this point, I bottled up a couple different kinds of the water.
Right.
This is just the drinking water.
Yeah.
And what I end up doing is I drink half my body weight in ounces a day.
Okay.
So I weigh just over 200 pounds, so I drink about 110 ounces of water every day. And it flushes my body, makes me feel good. I get lots of high energy from it.
Sure.
I've replaced coffee.
There you go.
With drinking water.
There's no caffeine in water either, which is good.
Nope, and getting the jitteriness of coffee out of my system. Occasionally, I do have a cup of coffee, and even making the coffee with the water is pretty
yeah,
amazing.
it must be pretty good.
Anything for cooking,
Yeah.
I use this water. Cooking, coffee, teas, anything like that.
Sweet.
But what happens is, over time, I started drinking a lot of water. Because I actually ended up in Auburn Hospital up in Cambridge.
Oh, for what?
With severe dehydration.
Oh.
So this is what turned me on to water in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
I went in, they put 3 bags of IV fluid into me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I felt amazing after that. And I went back out and they gave me that recommendation. Half your body weight in ounces a day.
Half. I do a fourth. Maybe I should do more. But
Yep.
I mean, you kind of really got to force it down if you're not thirsty. But I know that there's a rule. It's better to do that because it's better to make sure that you have the quota for the day every day.
Now that goes back to the molecules of how many molecules are in this water as opposed to drinking regular tap water or bottled waters. This water actually absorbs into your body a lot better than drinking the regular tap waters and bottled waters. Because it's such a fine water, it gets into your body on a cellular level and you don't feel bloated from it.
Right. Wow.
Because you're absorbing more of the water. It doesn't go to your bladder and then wait there and you feel like you're sloshing around and you need to go to the bathroom constantly. So you actually absorb this water into your body a lot better.
Oh, wow.
I love to describe it as a chain link fence, and if you had as many tennis balls as you could fit in your hand and you threw them at the fence, some might stick in the fence, most of them are going to bounce off the fence.
Right.
Okay? If I were to take this water, I would compare this water to a handful of marbles.
They'll go
I
through.
throw them, they're all going to go right through the
Wow,
fence.
that's
And
awesome.
that's kind of the concept of what's going on with getting this water into your cells and cleaning them out.
Right. So it's purification at its finest. Mm-hmm. I got you. Okay.
So one of the second thing I wanted to show is that had to do with the ability to take herbicides and pesticides, any oil-based things, off of your fruits and vegetables.
Okay. You brought some nice tomatoes.
So these are tomatoes from the Market Basket right up the street
Oh, that's
here on
right,
Broadway.
This is,
Some
I
of
noticed
them-
they're in plastic too, but I guess they haven't been there that long.
Yeah, I mean, what happens is people bring these home, and you know, some people soak their vegetables just in tap waters. There are some sprays and
There
all
are
sorts
sprays.
of
Yeah,
things
my
that you can
parents use
put.
those for their veggies and fruits.
Now those, again, it's another chemical product.
Yep.
Some of them tout as all natural, but pennies on the dollar, you can create water. This is 11.5 water, and the reason I keep it in a black container is because light and air, once they get on there, start to deteriorate the properties of
Right.
any water. So this water is just the same.
Wow.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit in there, and then I'm going to take a little bit of the Rainham.
Tap
This is
water.
a regular tap water. And while I let these sit for a minute, I'm going to show one more science demonstration for you. Again, here's the tap water. Now, from science class, I need to use the other water here. From science class, what do we know about oil and water?
They don't mix.
They don't mix at all. So what I'm going to use is a sesame oil.
Wow. Oh, that's sesame oil? Oh, that's sesame oil.
Yeah, I got some sesame oil here on the side.
Cool.
And what we'll do is, here's your tap water. And just like you said, they don't mix. So I'm going to put some oil in there and watch that rise to the top. And then this is the 11.5 water, and this is a very important property. It actually emulsifies. It actually, when you get in here, you can actually see that
it's like you're making gravy there.
Yeah, it actually gets in between the molecules of oil. So this being 11.5 high alkaline water, and this is tap water.
Okay, wow.
So what's happening here is you're seeing that the water is able to get in between all the molecules of oil and actually emulsify itself.
Okay, now why is that a good thing?
This is the property that we can use for cleaning.
Oh, okay.
So in order to degrease the stove,
right.
you can imagine that was the grease, the water's going to just slip right off.
I see what
it's
you
not
mean.
going to get off that. This will actually lift it up.
It's just like you said, it moves it through, almost like throwing the marbles through the fence again, except it's on a surface instead of in your body.
That's the concept there, and
wow.
this is on the surface, like you said.
Yeah.
So you're emulsifying oil with water, with high alkaline water. Now this is the fun part here. There's quite the shock factor that happens. I'm going to move these down. I'm going to have quite a bit of things to clean up after the show today.
Okay, well, I'll help you do that.
So what I want to show real quick here with the tomatoes, so if I were to take this, and this is with the tap water, as you can see, we still got tap water.
Right,
okay?
Yep.
So there's your tap water ones. And then this is the shock factor that got me convinced that I needed to get one of these machines. What you're seeing here, this yellow, this is all the petroleum-based herbicides and pesticides that were on
the tomatoes.
these tomatoes.
That's unbelievable.
So the difference is
astounding, to say the least. Wow.
It was very clear to me when I first saw that, and as soon as I did it with my own machine and made my own water to do that, it's amazing. And the tomatoes themselves, if you like to help yourself, you like tomatoes, these are the clean ones.
The clean ones? I'll try one.
They become sweet again. So what happens is you get a very bitter taste from regular tomatoes just through tap water.
Wow.
So what's going to happen is your fruits and vegetables, once you get all this off, you find that apples, you want to eat the skin. You don't want to peel the skin off. You just want to get all of this yellow petroleum off.
Right. Wow. Okay.
Some of the vegetables give off even darker, more disgusting looking things.
Right.
So what I do is I take a big chef bowl and I throw all my fruits and vegetables that I'm going to have with dinner, salad makings, everything. And I soak them for about 10-15 minutes. I get all this yellow gunk off of them.
Yeah.
And I've got delicious foods. It actually helps keep your foods longer in the fridge.
Yeah. Wow.
Once you get these things off. Because what's happening is everything's just kind of deteriorating on the inside.
Jeez, that's incredible.
So this factor here was the one that kind of got me really, really interested in it, because you could drink the water and say, oh, I don't feel it or I feel it, even if it's good for your body.
Yeah.
You know? But this is undeniable.
Yeah, truly.
That you can see what can really come off. Now on the other side, when you're making this 11.5 water, because we've got our pH scale of 14,
yep.
the 2.5 water that comes out
that
you can use to kill bacteria, you can use it to treat cuts on your skin.
Right.
It's just amazing what you can do with all the different scales of water.
It is. That's incredible.
So
now I have to ask you: is there a way of calibrating the numbers? Like I don't actually see the unit because you don't have it here. It's at your house on the SAP.
Yep.
So what I want to know is, how do you know when you get the numbers that you want, alkaline or acidic?
It's all touch screen on the dial.
Okay, cool.
And it literally, mine talks to me.
That's awesome.
So you're welcome to go to the website and check out on the website. It actually talks to you, so it'll tell you that you're making drinking waters.
Right.
It'll tell you when you're making the acidic water.
Yep.
They actually call it strong Kangen water. It talks to you, and what you're doing is you're taking your 14, and whatever number that you select, you just subtract that from 14, and that's your second stream of water that's going to be coming out of this machine.
Oh, that's amazing.
So there's one that when you're getting your tap water out the top, or in your drinking water, and then you can actually put some sort of receptacle down the bottom and save the water for watering the plants, washing the windows, like you said, washing the car.
Yeah.
You go out, you can get streak-free glass by using a 4.5 water or a 5.5 water.
Okay, so that number is more on the acidic side, right?
Yep.
Okay, the lower the number, the more acidic; the higher, the more alkaline.
That's it.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
Yep.
Wow.
So we're looking to put the higher alkaline things into our body, somewhere between 8.5 and 9.5. our bodies, when we eat things, we produce stomach acids.
Right.
And then just below the stomach is our duodenum. Our
right.
duodenum
Yep.
is actually the regulator that tries to get our body back into an alkaline state as it passes our nutrients and the food that it's just digested through our intestines.
For waste, after the waste cycle, is that what you're saying?
The waste is a little bit later than that.
Oh, okay.
So once you get into your intestines, that's where you're really absorbing nutrients.
Okay, right.
So after you digest, you pass through, and the duodenum is trying to raise the level back up into alkaline because it's very acidic from all your stomach acid. You need the stomach acid, obviously, to digest.
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to start helping your body become more alkaline before you even eat. So what we tell people is just like the swimming pool, don't jump in the swimming pool 30 minutes before or after you eat. We tell people...
Yeah, but that's only because... I see what you mean, because of the acidity. I have the inside... It has nothing to do with what's in the water, too.
No, the idea is that you don't want to dilute your stomach acids while you're eating.
Right.
So it's actually suggested by a lot of doctors to just not even don't even drink while you're eating.
Right. Okay.
Maybe sip on something with your meal, but really let your body enjoy the food, digest the food, and drink your water around your meals.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's really good to be hydrating around your meals because then you're not diluting your stomach acid, which is a good thing for digestion.
Sure. Wow.
It's a good way to eliminate acid reflux as well.
Oh, I know. I've had my share of acid reflux, so I haven't lately, but believe me, it's not fun. In fact, I got pneumonia from having acid reflux about 11 years ago.
Yep, it's a very predominant reaction that people have from having a slightly acidic diet. I mean, I can't claim that I haven't in the past, and I don't spoil myself every once in a while with things that aren't good for me. But I've learned to just kind of regulate that after I see things like this, as well as drinking the water and feeling the benefits from it. I really do pay a little bit more attention to my diet and my health overall.
Yeah, you look pretty healthy, so I guess that's pretty much important. That's an important thing to do. So how long have you been doing this for?
I've been with the company for just about a year now.
Okay.
And I've been drinking the water for a little bit longer than that.
Okay.
My sponsor introduced me to it probably 3 or 4 months before I bought my own machine.
Wow.
So I was basically, what we do is we share the water. So there's, we like to do, anywhere from 3 weeks to a month of a free trial.
Okay.
I used 25 days. Just because everybody always says 14 days or 21 or 30. So I said 25. I'll make it kind of unique to my own business here.
Sure.
25 days on the water. If you see the difference, you feel the difference, then you're going to want to look into this. You're going to want to look into it probably after day 2, like I did.
That's amazing.
But when it comes down to it, after close to 30 days, you're going to see a transformation in your body. You're going to feel better. You're going to go through a very mild detox. Where you are cleaning your cells out finally. It's that, again, the chain link fence with the marbles. This water is going to get in your body, and it's going to just keep working away at cleaning out all the toxins and free radicals that are in our bodies.
Yep.
Because the best way to look at it is antioxidant.
Yeah.
We're oxidizing, which is would be related to rusting. So our cells, quote unquote, are rusting.
Yep.
They're aging faster than we are. Especially with acidic diets. So what happens is you get the antioxidant properties of the water from the drinking water. Then you clean off all these pesticides in the food you eat. You start to water your gardens with them, and organic takes on a whole new idea. If you're putting seeds into pure soil and watering your garden with the purest water that you can make on earth, you're going to end up with truly organic.
Right.
It all depends on the soil itself, but if you're going to treat raw soil with this water, you're going to get very clean vegetables to grow and cook with. All these, there's so many properties to the water, it's unbelievable.
What about the use of fertilizer on things to grow? And then do you think that's kind of detrimental to good health?
Yes. Just again, because it's chemicals. Right. So it's like they act as though
people have been using fertilizer for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's some natural ways of fertilizing things.
Like using one's own product instead of a cow's?
From using, you can use crushed shellfish shells and things like that to add natural fertilizers, because as they decompose, they create kind of natural fertilizers.
Well, I got to tell you something. And I don't know how far around the world you've been, but in 1998 I went to China, and I have never tasted better tasting produce. And I believe that's how I mean, they pretty much taught the world to farm about 5,000 years ago, and I believe that's how they fertilize their food with their own waste. The humans do it. That's what I heard. Now,
Composting.
Yeah, right. Yep. Now, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, and that's all I eat. I don't eat meat. I know that's a whole new ball and chain for people is washing meat, because that's important too. I think, based on what I understand, is that meat, if you heat it up too much, you may kill all the bacteria, but you lose the nutrients too. Whereas if you don't heat it up, you have all the terrible things going into your system, even though it's probably more higher in nutrients and protein and whatever, all those other things that you need. So I'm just wondering if that applies to vegetables too.
Vegetables, it's the same thing. They actually do recommend eating a good amount of raw fruits and vegetables along with cooking them.
I know, I eat it every day. I eat raw fruits and vegetables every day.
Yep, the raw does that. I mean, there's different ways. I mean, we can't eat raw all the time. Sometimes we need something with a little different textures and things. But if you were to just boil down your broccoli, you're going to lose a lot of it to the water itself.
Yeah.
Now, if you use that water to then boil some pasta, or something like that after the fact, now you can kind of retain those nutrients.
Okay.
So there are some great ways.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that you could boil something and that the stuff that I guess the nutrients, they remain in the water, and then you can reuse it. That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, because you could imagine you soak them, you get them out, and then you use a little bit more of the good water to put in your your boiling pan.
Yeah.
And then after the nutrients come off, now you've got this nice broth.
Right. Exactly.
And then you can reuse that broth.
Huh. Interesting.
Excuse me.
No problem. Are you a professional chef at all?
I did work in a lot of restaurants, but my fiance and I use a lot of bonding time. We work in the kitchen together a lot.
Oh, there you go. That's perfect.
So she's great with the sauces, and I'm good with the saute.
Cool. There you go.
So
That's wonderful.
I do love to cook.
Yeah.
We do try to eat vegetarian at least 4 or 5 times a week.
But to be honest with you, if you eat meat at all, then you're not a vegetarian.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying for the meals, are strictly there's no meat on the table for 5 out of the 7 days of the week.
Okay, but for those other 2 days, you do eat. Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Yep, I do seafood and chicken. I've cut back a lot on the beefs, because beef is very acidic for the body to digest.
It's true. Yeah.
It's not as good for you.
Well, see, I actually have an allergy to acidity. I have a problem with acidity too. Like tomatoes can be acidic if like I haven't had pizza in about 15, 17 years, as much as I love it.
Because of the sauce.
Well, yeah, the sauce. It's very acidic. For some reason, when the tomatoes are converted into sauce, they seem to become way more acidic than they were before in the pure form. Why is that? Do you know?
I want to say that's when you're breaking down when you're cooking it, and you're breaking down the molecular structure of the
that creates more acidity.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It starts to release some things. That I don't know that much about that side of the cooking process. Well, I do know that once you start to break down different things, like onions start to lose their, how sharp they are, because you start to cook off some of the.
Have you ever noticed that bananas have a very, very short shelf life? You buy a banana at 10 in the morning, and by 1 o'clock, it's already got bruises, even if you got it in the fridge. Why is that? Do you know?
I think that's one of the ones that they don't treat bananas a lot with a lot of the herbicides and pesticides. They don't use as many on a banana because it's already encased in a nice
they think that's
hefty shell.
Yeah, except it's terrible because you get bruises on it. Who wants to eat a banana that's got more brown than yellow?
I just you were saying before you have smoothies.
I do, and you know what?
That's when I put the bananas in it.
Well, let me tell you something. I'll give you a little tip. I actually one day I was out buying some bananas at a health food store in Plymouth, and some woman came in and she says to me, "You know what? You're better off not eating bananas, and if you're making a smoothie, you're better off getting coconut water, because number one, it's much higher in potassium, and number two, bananas get a lot of sugar in them.
Yeah.
And number three, my number three is that it's disgusting when they turn brown and stuff. So I took her advice. I bought the coconut water, and I haven't had a banana since. And that was 3 years ago, and it's much better. I much prefer putting that in the smoothie and not having to try to work around the brown spots and the bruises and whatever, which is what they are really. Yeah. And the mushiness. Which is
it's starting to become sugar. It's starting. So as it breaks down, the sugars start to continue to break down the banana.
It doesn't taste all that good either. My favorite tasting banana product was back when I was a kid, and my mother used to give me banana-flavored cough syrup. That was pretty good. But I don't really like real bananas. I much prefer, I'm glad I met that woman that night. Hard to believe she tried to hit. I found at a restaurant later on. She happened to be at the same restaurant I was going to, doing a show like this one, doing my Topic Time show. And I felt bad because I think she wanted to hit on me, but I wasn't interested. But I definitely, it's nice to be able to take that advice with me.
Yeah, why not?
Right, exactly.
Sometimes you gotta take what you can take from the situation.
Well, I'm telling you too. So if you ever want to try coconut water, there's a couple of really good brands. Zico is one. That's the one I use. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't. No.
Okay, you can buy that at any health food store. I don't know if you guys shop at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. I go to Whole Foods regularly. And pretty much even like there's a store in Quincy called Good Health that I go to, and there's one in Hanover also. You guys, do you shop at a lot of health food stores, or you just go to the supermarket? And you told me you went to Market Basket. I guess they have a pretty good health food section, right?
Yeah, they have pretty good produce there for the most part. We like to go places where we know that we've got non-hormones in the chickens and things like that. So Whole Foods is definitely one of the ones on the list. The H Mart that's out there now. They've got great seafood.
Yeah.
But more so than going to some of the other commercial stores where it's just lined with commercial products. I'd rather go to a market.
And processed stuff that you don't want either.
Yeah, I'd rather go to a market and then go to either a seafood shop or a butcher shop that touts themselves for where they get their
products,
fresh products from.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the idea is that once you start to save a little money on all these other commercial products,
right.
now getting yourself kind of the top of the line, if you will, vegetables and meats and things,
right.
Becomes very available to the budget.
Yeah,
exactly.
At
the household.
Saves money too, aside from being healthy. It's a win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
Does your fiance does she promote the products too, like you do?
She does in her personal time. She's a family nurse practitioner.
Okay.
So it can't be a conflict of interest at her office right now.
Right.
But little by little, we're trying to get the head of her practice in to start looking at this as kind of an alternative that they can then recommend to their patients and their clients that come in.
That's awesome.
To talk to them. But she loves this factor of being able to clean the foods, cleaning the house.
Yeah.
Our cat Otis, he drinks the water.
Good.
It's kind of fun with pets.
It is.
Dogs have the best nose out of all the household pets.
Right.
The dog water test is amazing. You put tap water in a bowl and alkaline water in a bowl.
They won't touch it, but if you put this stuff, they'll
goes right to it every time. It's amazing how their nose picks out the freshest source of water.
Yeah.
And they'll lap it up.
Wow.
And then we've had some people actually.
Not cats though. They don't have this good a nose. My cat Hiawatha loves the. She drinks all the Vermont spring water that we get. I'm talking about the cooler water. The water that's delivered, not the stuff that you buy in the store.
Yeah.
That you heat. I mean, now what do you think of that? I'm just wondering what you think if that's better. That's probably not as good as this.
It depends on how. I mean, honestly, the regulations of those.
Right.
Who knows what's in the water source.
Right.
With the piping systems of where it comes from. If it's coming naturally out of a spring, it better be high up in altitude if we think there isn't any pollutants.
Well, it's in Vermont. Vermont's the Green Mountain State, so you get a lot of high mountains up there. So there's
true.
Plenty of, yeah.
But we have acid rain.
We have that. Oh wow!
So now our acid rain is now polluting even our water sources.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd like to tell people this every time that because when it comes down to it, your tap water, people go, "Oh, the tap water is awful," and these different things about it. There's copper and there's even lye in the water to treat the waters, fluorides, chlorines, all sorts of things that they put into the waters.
Right.
That is necessary to preserve the pipeline.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility once the water starts coming out of the tap to clean it. If they didn't put those things in, the water wouldn't get to us.
Right.
So that at the end of the line, having something that can clean the water as it comes in is the best source. When it comes to water coming down from Vermont, it still needs to be cleaned at some point.
Right.
Any source of water needs to be cleaned.
Yeah, I see.
So carbon filters do a great job, but they can't really do much for alkalizing the water.
Right.
You can add sodiums and you can add chlorides and calciums to raise the pH, but it's not pure anymore.
Right.
Now it's a solution that's alkaline. It's not water. So the difference being that this electrolysis process actually is it's bringing the water back to its original state. That's actually what kangen means in Japanese.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Return to origin is what kangen means.
Huh, interesting.
So that's why I went with Kangen Boston, was to introduce it to this area and say, hey, Boston water comes from the Quabbin Reservoir. It's touted as some of the cleanest water we have in the state.
No kidding.
But by the time it gets to us, it's traveling through
the
pipe system to get here. So again, once it comes out of the tap, it's our job to clean it.
I always thought that because of that Stendhal song, the Boston dirty water, that was the dirtiest water in the country.
We don't drink water out of the harbor. No,
oh, I know, but I thought the Quabbin Reservoir the water from there came from the harbor.
Oh no,
right directly into it.
No, Quabbin Reservoir is Central Mass.
Oh, it is.
It's the largest reservoir in Central Mass.
Oh, no kidding. Whereabouts is it? Like around Worcester in that area?
No, it's just south of Winchendon.
Winchendon, great area. I love that town.
Yep. So if you come south from there, so you're probably going an hour, maybe an hour and a half west of Worcester to get to the Quabbin Reservoir.
Okay, interesting.
And it really it almost cuts it almost goes north and south from the state. It's the largest body of water inland in Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts, right.
Yep.
It's just amazing.
And 75% of it is preservation, so you can't even go out there in a boat and you can fish only the south side.
Okay, well, I guess the environmentalists make sure of that so that it doesn't.
Yep.
They want to keep it pure.
Yep, and that pipeline water, that's what's making it all the way into Boston.
Yeah.
And they still say it's the best water that you can get, but again, till that comes out of the tap, we gotta clean our water.
Interesting. Okay.
And the great thing about this is you could live anywhere in the world, and when the water's coming out of the tap, and you put this machine on, if you've got electricity, you plug it into the wall.
Yeah.
And you're cleaning the water. The closest thing that they relate this to is if a body of water was struck by lightning.
Yeah.
And you were to take that pure, almost electrified water out.
It's funny, a human being struck by lightning, they get fried. When water struck by lightning, it gets galvanized. That's interesting.
It becomes very pure again. It becomes sterilized.
Yeah, yeah.
Our glaciers that are melting, that is the purest water on Earth because it's been frozen. There's no pollutants frozen into the center of it.
Well, you're almost saying that global warming is a good thing.
No. But
that's why the glaciers are melting, isn't it?
No. I'm not saying that that's a good thing at all.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is that the water that is inside that is the purest water on the planet because it has not been exposed to the pollutants of the industrial age.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no acid rain in the center. There's no smog. There's nothing inside that ice.
Well, if that's the case, then then what'll happen is if those polar ice caps are melting, which is what we're hearing is happening. And it's hard to believe considering how the weather's been lately. I mean, the winters have been unbelievable. Here it is. We're already in April 24th, and we had snow yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how much credibility there is to global warming. But let's just say, for argument's sake, hypothetically, that let's say the polar ice caps are melting. So that means that when that happens, when it's finally gone, then all the purest water on Earth will all be dissolved, right?
It'll all be just mixed in with all the rest of the polluted water.
Yep. Amazing. Wow.
So it's kind of a scary thought. We are raising in temperature. That's the global warming factor.
Right, I understand, yeah.
It's going to become a water world, hundreds of years from now, unless we can find a way to slow that all down.
Right.
Because no matter who you are or where you're from or what your belief system is, we are a planet that is close enough to the sun to sustain life here, and it's an opportunity.
So obviously we're doing it because we're here.
Yeah, it's an opportunity, and I'd like to see that I could have children and their great-grandchildren still have a planet that isn't destroyed yet.
Oh, I agree.
That kind of starts today.
Cool. No, I know. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, right?
Yep.
I know.
It's
total. I get that. Yeah. Wow. All right. So, let me ask you this now: you're a distributor. You're a Boston area distributor. How many distributors do they have around the country?
Honestly, I wouldn't know the numbers on that. I'm part of a small and growing team that's moved up from Cape Cod.
Yeah. Okay.
So my sponsor's down in the Cape, and slowly it's come up this way. I want to say there's probably a couple dozen of us at least.
Yeah.
It's funny that we haven't all met each other in the sense of every day I kind of meet someone else.
Right.
Whether it's online networking or through a Facebook.
That's how I met you on Facebook, and I didn't know. All I did was I saw your website or your Facebook page, and I thought, okay, the guy's a water distributor. I guess it could be interesting, and I And what I do for my show is, the great thing about Facebook is it gets me, I have about 1,500 Facebook friends, and it enables me to get tons of guests. There's always someone out there floating around that's interesting. And there you were, and you wanted to come up here. And you got quite an education, I have to say.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you for extending the invitation.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, listen, we're almost out of time. You want to get, I mean, a lot of people are going to see this, and you can give in as many shout-outs as you can get in the next 3 minutes, because that's how much time we got left.
Sure. Well, again, my name is Mike Stacchi. I am a Boston native, and this is an opportunity. If you're looking for a part-time or even a full-time job like I'm doing it now, I did have to kind of progress through the ranks a little bit to be doing this full-time. But you can get more information and contact me through kangenboston.com. I have a Facebook page, so you're welcome to contact me through that as well. It's worth a try. We've got a 25-day free trial. What we like to do is get people on the website. Because you've seen the show, you've got a little bit of an education for yourself, but there's even more on my website, so it's worth checking out. And then contact me. By all means, if it's not myself, we've got a team of people all around the city. You just get on the water.
City, you mean Boston, right?
Certainly.
Okay.
Yep, so we've got North Shore, South Shore.
All right, so you're covering all over the way. Okay, I see.
Yep, so if you're in this area, you could be meeting up with me to get your trial started. I do ask people to, grab some jugs. I've got some BPA free jugs if you want to purchase them from me. But I say just, get yourself some drinking containers and just be ready to take it seriously.
For your health and your well-being, and for that of the environment as well.
Yep.
True. Wow.
You got to take it all into consideration. It's their slogan for the corporate company is "Change your water, change your life."
Right.
I think it's one of those things that once you get involved, it's kind of hard to deny something like this.
Yeah, the tomato is delicious.
Yep, and we saw the pH test earlier.
Yeah.
Commercials are great, and they're good ways to learn about things, but you really got to continue to educate yourself to make the right decision for yourself, for your family, and for your future, and for the environment, like you were just saying. So.
All right. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's great. I know I'm impressed, and it's nice. I can't wait to try this myself. And I may end up, I don't know about if I'll work for the company, but I might end up deciding to get one of those filters and recommend it to the family.
Well, I brought your first gallon down today. So
I know you did. I think he's going to give me a free gallon. That's delightful. Just for the privilege of having him on my show, and I hope you guys enjoy it and get an education, because this has been probably one of the most educational Topic Time episodes I've ever hosted. And so I want to thank you guys. It's a Friday show, and I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a lot more, and we're going to finish it up with a chair dance. We're going to have another great guest next week. I think I have a pretty model coming in all the way up from Connecticut. Or they come all over to be on Topic Time. So I want to thank you guys very much. Have a great weekend. See you later. Take care.
Thanks, Harrison.
Thanks.